Hello everyone. I'm supposed to be doing multiple things at present. I can only do one of the above. Because of the mountainous valley that I'm in, I can't start the application that tracks my movement, so that's one thing that's been ruled out. I am actually really looking forward to getting up to the lake. Something I've viewed many times via Google Images, and it's something I've really wanted to go up and see for, well, as long as I've been looking at this place. Bit of a fucker to get up to, as you'll see from the footage. It's one of those classic valleys and a classic valley road, so Jesus, at times it was just 45-degree or more. Hellish. It doesn't look that bad when you look at it on Google Map, and then you see it in the flesh and you're like, Posty, right, next right. Great, people parked up and great. Oh god, yeah, I see why I shouldn't have done this one. Strong car engine for this. Single track road, it's all closed in, can't see jack shit. I mean, I'm glad I'm not doing it on a motorbike, because it'd be fucked. Coming the other way, car, dead. You gotta make sure you don't go onto his farm, but fucking mental. I think this might be being used as part of a rally stage or something. And it wouldn't surprise me if it was. Right now. I mean, somebody brought an RV up here because it's on Google Images, you know, on the map, the street view. Someone drove an RV up here. Fucking madheads. What you do if you meet someone along here? You just have to kind of go back up to there. I can't see. Fuck. It's one of them. I suppose not many people come up here and use use it, so that saves you a bit of fucking hassle. Should be hovering my foot over the clutch and brake, preferably, just in case, so I'm ready to fucking damp on the bastard. That was obviously a massive stone, something to that effect. God damn it, I'm driving next to someone's fucking roof. No way recycling thing has come up here. Fuck it. I do not believe that they bring recycling vans up here. Imagine that. Driving a fucking recycling truck up here like, I hate this route, I hate this route, I hate this route. Oh, that's a smash. Smash Bros. Tell you what, you won't get many people using this car park, I tell you that for fuck all. I don't think I'll be using it again, Jesus Christ. Yeah, it's free. What price in your lifespan do you have to pay to get to it? I paid for this parking space with my soul. It's fucking mental. I should be nearly there now, apparently, after this bend, I think it is. No, wrong again. Madness. Absolute fucking madness. Thank Christ. 100 metres. Nah, like anyone's gonna come up and check. I suppose we could take this brief minute while we're taking a pleasant walk through the woods to discuss recent happenings. I'm only going to talk about this now, I'm not going to talk about it again this entire trip. The bike. I don't know what to tell you. It seems like it's slipped a bearing. Oh. Well, apparently this is as far as it goes. The road it is. But yeah, it's slipped a bearing. It's unfortunately completely fucking done a rung on its chain. Like there's one literally stuck up in the air. Sadly, it's looking like the ZX6R's days are done. I'm not happy about it. I'm just weighing up my options now. But that's what today's about. Getting away for a day and a night just to clear me head of everything. Okay, I'll let you guys share this experience with me. Looks amazing this time of morning. Let's see what it looks like when we get over there. Well worth getting up at 5 AM to hike over some bloody mountains. Fair dues. Ooh, midges. That is a nice house out there. See if I can zoom in. You've got a campsite over there, by the look of it, and a building in the trees over there. What a view though. And I have a vision to walk up that bastard. Well, we'll see. Taking just a moment to acknowledge something amazing. My lovely better half made me this for carrying my bottle. Amazing. I said, oh, I wish I had some kind of a sling or a bag or something so I could put it on my belt or on my bag. And she just said, oh, give me a couple of minutes. Suddenly there was this in the living room. Took her about half an hour. Bloody amazing. Plus, lightweight. That's what I like about it. Very lightweight kit. Very good. So we're off to a cracking start. Not optimistic about making the distance, if I'm honest. But we shall see. We shall bloody see. Okay, finally made it to an elevation where I had a phone signal. I have started Strava, which is like a tracking app. I'm now gonna continue the walk, see if I can't make it to the top of this hill. Unfortunately, this hill is a great deal steeper than I had originally envisioned and is actually quite inappropriate for wild camping. I could probably make some of these locations work, but as you can see in there, it's all dense, nasty, horrible stuff, and I'd have to spend way too long to be inconspicuous taking all them things out. I see the path up there. Can you guys lightly, all that light through the trees? Yeah, up there, it's path again. It's an impeccable view from up here. Let me stop and get that in frame with the light. Yeah. But yeah, Strava's now tracking my GPS as long as it holds out. I've lost maybe a mile and a half to no signal at all. From the car park to this location, no signal whatsoever, not even for an SOS. The valley is just too steep for any kind of signals. But let's keep going. Okay, first time using the soya squeeze. That's what I get for being adventurous, I suppose. Up to the fucking knee nearly. But it's like that the whole way up. I thought it would just be there. Got in there a ways, if you can see. So damn near sank to me fucking knee. The only thing that stopped me is I put my hand into a bush full of God knows what. So I've come back down here to wash my boot and look about going round, unfortunately. Looks like it's the long way. fuck. I'm trying to keep it PG, but that's all I have to say about it at the moment. Basically, I didn't want to go into too much detail down there because I was still a bit fucking about it. But there's the mountain behind me, and then there's nothing but open sky that way. Yeah, I tried to use the path that cuts through the trees over yonder way where I'm looking, and it was literally a bog the whole way up. It looks like a waterway has decided that path is now not a path anymore. I sank basically to my knee, and the only thing, as I say, that stopped me was me diving into a bush off the side of the path, which damn near twisted my knee up. With someone else, that would have been funny as shit. And literally, I'll throw some photos in from a trip I did with my mate Lewis, where we camped, and I literally went knee deep, both feet into a bog beside a lake. And because I had someone there with me, I wasn't upset. I got him to go and retrieve my shoes from the mud because I walked away without them. You know, it was funny. I made what came to be known, and still patent pending, the piss be gone booties. Yeah, but that's funny when you've got someone with you. When you're on your Todd and the only thing you've got to lever yourself out is one arm in a bush and the other foot on the same substance that you just sank into, it's not fucking funny at all. And like I say, the whole time when I was going on this trip, I said to Laura, I said, I'm going on my own, but I will be as careful as I can. No risk, and if it gets to a point where I don't think it's going to be safe to continue, I'll just turn back, because it's not worth risking everything for my family. Hang on, I came out wrong. I'd risk everything for them, but I won't risk everything just for a wild camping weekend. I could spend literally hours the day trying to just get through this, because what I've had to do is I will put a screenshot of my walk with a map of Jason. I may even take you somewhere back where I came from down there. Can you see where I came from? Yeah, it's not brilliant, but the path just tapers out and then it's all bog. I've just done my ankle going over some of that because where it's just beyond these, I stepped over it, slipped, and my foot went straight through the floor because it's all just like moss with broken sticks under it. I mean, great for fires, don't get me wrong, but once all this turns into dirt and mulch and God knows what else, it just does that underneath you, and you end up with your foot through the floor, plus all of these trees. Disappointed. It's not what I expected. It really isn't. You'll have to excuse the glisten off me because I'm sweating like a fucker. I've enjoyed the walk. It's only about 3 miles I've done. Most of it's not on the tracker because no signal in a fucking valley. Not impressed that I've come to... oh shit. Not impressed that I've come to this point and I don't see a way through it. I'll tell you what, I'm going to keep walking yonder way and basically keep trying. If I get so far into that lot and it becomes unpassable like I think it's going to, it's a U-turn, I'm afraid. There's nowhere on the side of this fucking mountain to camp. It's all bog and quagmire at the moment. I hate when this happens. You think it's going to be something that it ain't. And it fucking, that's the case today, unfortunately. I tried to keep it PG, but as I did say to Sadie in the comments, this was going to be a recon at best, probably. Turns out the car park's a fucker to get to. Oh! Single track lane, and it's all at like a 40-degree angle to start with. God, my teeth are disgusting. I'll put the video of the drive up here, but I just don't see it as feasible at the moment, I'm afraid. I keep swapping hands because, like I say, I fucked up my hand landing in that bush. It's actually quite sore. I don't know what that bush was. Sorry. I'll leave it in, fuck it. But yeah, I can't be taking a path at 5 o'clock in the morning that I can't walk down without sinking. It's just not safe. If I sink and get stuck, or my foot gets lodged under something under there, because there are roots going through these quagmires and bogs. Up here there's no one around. I mean, I've been up here since 7 o'clock. It's now getting on for like 8:30. I haven't seen a fucking soul. Tomorrow morning, if I'm on my way down and I get stuck in that shit, because I've got to go this way, there is no other way off the mountain for me because of where I parked the car. At least with things like Betis, there's multiple routes down the mountain. It's a bit more open. I think if I was going to do this route, I'd have to just hike it. I wouldn't camp it. I don't know, get someone to drop me at this end or at the bottom of the hill, blitz over it, get to the other end and then get the train home. But that's another issue. Yeah, let me try and move to somewhere stable carefully. Oh, it's also tick territory. Lovely. Ticks and spiders, basically. Trains. The reason I couldn't get the train here, or to Betis, the whole plan was to go to Betis to Bethesda. It's all walkable paths. There's none of this bullshit where it just tapers away into nothingness. It's all regulated paths. Unfortunately, the train to Betis doesn't arrive at the earliest until 11 o'clock in the morning. There isn't enough time in the day to walk from Betis to Bethesda if you're starting at 11 AM. I'm literally crawling with spiders right now. Fuck off. I'm disappointed in the path and myself. I'll have to come up with someone else so I can actually push on through the areas I want to push on through, but like I say, it's too dangerous without somebody here with me. Can't be getting stuck somewhere and not being able to get home. Also looks like the weather may not last. Do I stay? Do I go? Safety dictates, really. Like I say, I'm going to push on for a bit and then I'll update. If you see me looking at a map, it's fucking game over. Okay, so this first section sinks to about ankle deep. That section and everywhere beyond, especially behind all this greenery, sinks to about the knee. Now, I want to go over there to show you there's nowhere solid to stand to get over there. But basically this is just a stick. Can you imagine my near 15 stone ass with a 10 kilogram pack? All I do is fucking sink. Now you're seeing me stand there with a stick because I've actually tried again on this route. Strava keeps dying, so I've given up on that. I'll probably turn it on in a minute, try again, but it's fucking useless. It keeps turning off. It's satellites. I'm up in the mountains, they don't track very well. But I've tried going along that, up through the tree, along that, but again you come to impassable brambles and things. Same on that side, because it's just up there that I went face first in. The thing you can't see, obviously, is that off the sides, even though it doesn't look like it, it's the same situation over there. So even with a stick to assist me, and sticks thrown into the swamp as best I could find, it's impassable for me. I'm not doing it on my Todd. It simply is not worth the risk. Now I have to clean my shoe. I'll leave you here for another passerby if they want to use you. It's a shame, but I've got a sneaking suspicion that based on how this bit is, the next bit would be worse. And with no way up to the top, I don't know. Maybe if I go back up, try again. Yeah, it's still early. I don't actually know what time it is, but I'll give it another go. Let's see if I can get back up this path. It goes round the back of this and up to over there behind the trees, the new ones, because this is the old growth, that's the new growth. One of the issues with it is that because it's basically commercial land, the Forestry Commission are using it as renewable forestry, so they're planting them close together to cut them down again. So it's all dense like that. And where it isn't dense, it's rocky because, well, trees can't grow on rocks. Anyway, back up I go. I'll try again, and I will catch up with you in a bit.
Okay, so the afterword. Basically, after I came down from the mountain, I started circling the lake looking for video, which is what you saw in the Olfi, and I'd gone through what looked like a couple of wild camp spots, but not proper wild camp spots. You know, people had neglected them, left burnt wood everywhere and stones, cans. You know, the people who just go down there for a drink and a fire. You know, fucking hate those people. They ruin it for everybody. But it looks like a couple of them. After that, I went round to the lake, and where the last photo, that glorious shot of the lake from the far end with the mountain in the background, shortly after doing that, I was approached by one of the workers from the cafe slash fishing bit. You know, they obviously have a business up there where you can get a permit to fish on their lake and get a boat out as well. It transpires that after I came down off the mountain and started going through these little fire spots, if you will, looking for good photographs and video, and secretly, I was actually looking for somewhere to set up for the night, maybe. I thought, well, why not down by the lake? I might as well get a night out of it. Long story short, I'd walked back to that end of the lake to take more photos. I was approached, and he said, look, a lady has spotted you going in and out of the woods and going down to the shore. She says, you've got a lot of kit with you. You look like you're going to start a fire. And I said, no, I'm just getting photographs. I carry my kit because, you know, necessity. If I do go off, I need it. And he says, oh, can you prove that you're not going to do any illegal fishing as well? And I was like, well, I haven't got a fishing rod. So I opened my bag and I let him have a quick look in. I was like, oh, no fishing rod. But I knew then, I was like, Jesus Christ, I've been followed by this woman. And I knew I was being followed to a degree. Like, I was aware this lady was always in my peripheral whenever I looked over my shoulder. She was always in the background, and she must have been stood on the bank when I was doing all those videos looking out across the lake. She must have been stood to my right after following me all that way, just watching me and waiting, and then phoned them for them to come and speak to me. And I was just like, you know what? If there's going to be busybodies fucking following me around because I look suspect and shit, I was like, oh fuck it, I'm going to go home. I was already a bit defeated by the mountain itself, and if I'd had the energy, time, because that's a constraint that was on me, time. I didn't have time to go up and over the mountain plus progress to where I needed to get to. I needed that first section to go smoothly so that the follow-up sections could be done. And it didn't go smoothly. I wasted the better part of 2 hours at the top just zigging and zagging between these points that I wanted to try and find a way through. And there was no way. It was all on Google, like Earth and the map. It looks like it's deforested because when the photo was taken, it was. So it would have been easier to cross then. But now that it's the way it is, they've planted fresh trees all over the top part where there wasn't trees before. So that's ruled out that route. And where the path that goes through that I tried to go up and ended up sinking into, that was just a bog. It just ruined it. So the only other option I had after that was climbing over all the fallen and dead trees, and I really did not fancy that because, like I say, it'd just be hours and hours of effort for no progress where I'd simply have to get to, say, I think my turnaround point was 3, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. If I hadn't made it to one of the checkpoints by then, I'd have to turn around and head back to the car anyway. So I knew it wasn't going to be possible. Now the plan is, hopefully, in September, the first week, I'm off. So I may head back up that way and try and do it in like 2 or 3 days instead of just a day. A day is impractical. You can't make up the distance, and with paths that don't exist and finding your own routes, as much as I enjoy doing that on your own, it's not safe. As I said in the video, I don't want there to be a situation where my girlfriend is wondering where my body is on a mountain somewhere or, you know, in the back of someone's car. It's just not worth it for a little bit of a giggle. So it's not going to happen. I've just opened my water filter and poured water all over myself because I'm a fucking idiot. Um, so yeah, I don't look at this as a fail. I knew going in there were going to be some difficulties and possibly a turnaround on it, but I learned a lot. I got my pack down to about two-thirds of the weight it normally would be if I was going on a hike or a wild camp. I can probably get a bit more off that. So I've learned a lot from it, and hopefully when I do have time off, I will make a damn good go of it. I may come from the other end because there is a designated path from Bethesda up to the top of the mountain. From the top of the mountain down the reservoirs, there's paths everywhere there. The only issue I had today was the fact that the paths just died out, and I just did not have the time nor the safety to go plotting my own. What happened off camera when I was doing that whole bit of speech where I was saying about, there's no path and new trees, old trees, and all that stuff, I went off looking for a route and I stepped on what I thought was quite a secure log. The bark came off it. I landed, luckily, on my feet, but my foot went straight through the floor because it was just moss and branches. So my foot goes into the floor and I land flat on my face. I am then covered in all sorts. I'm literally crawling. I've got spiders going up through my arm hair and everything. I was just like, oh, for fuck's sake. So I think it's one of that my big journey that I want to do is going to be a big deal. I'm going to have to make 2 or 3 days out of it, and it'll have to be done right. So that's back to the drawing board for that one because I'm going to have to think of a new starting point, like I say. Because as in the footage, coming down from there was a nightmare. I had to reverse round 3 bends. I had to pull into someone's driveway at one point because there were two coming up and I was the only one going down. It's not a great place to drive to, and it's an even worse place to launch from because you basically start in the valley and then emerge into a closed valley with only 2 exits. And those are your options, really. And if you can't get out of there in a quick enough time, it ruins the entire experience. So, not a failed recon, not a failed camp. Well, the camp was a fail, unfortunately. Like I say, busybodies stalking me. But overall, I found it to be a very pleasurable experience. I've got a lot of lovely photos, and it was so good to finally see the the lake I've been looking at in photos for the last year or so. It was just great to finally see it. Anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and hopefully September I will get out there and get this mileage under my belt. I want to try and get over the mountains. I want to have a proper walk out of this. Thanks, guys. Bye.